Hi everyone. I don't usually come on social media and say too much about, my personal life. But it's been on my mind. It's been bothering me. It's been hurting me these past couple of, weeks. Just seeing everything that's going on in the world around us. Many of you know me in the events industry world. Many of you know me as a community leader, advocating for women and children within our community. And I don't know what kind of leader I would be if I didn't come out and say something. I feel compelled to be a part of breaking the silence. I am a victim of police brutality. I am a victim of social injustice. And today, I want to tell you my story. Not too long ago, I was driving home from church and I was pulled over because a police officer decided that he was going to run the stop sign, almost hitting us. He was in an unmarked car. And I didn't know he was a police officer because he was in an unmarked car. And he almost hit me and my children while we were in the intersection. And as a response, as I would do anyone else, as I'm crossing the intersection, upset that he almost hit us, I went like this, like, what is wrong with you? And he decided to pull me over. That's how I knew and found out that he was a police officer. And when he pulled me over, and he asked me for my license and registration. And I said to him, okay, let me get it for you. So I proceed to go and get my license and registration for him. My son in the back was very upset about what was going on, and he was kind of like, he was already upset about something else, and this just made it more worse. And I tried to tell the police officer that I just needed to, if he can give me 1 second, I'm going to come out of the car, and notifying him that I'm just going to tend to my son. And as I'm getting out of the car, he pulls me out of the car and slams me against my car in front of my children. And he says to me, "You're so lucky your children are here." And in that moment, I can't even imagine, I can't even tell you like how I felt. And afterwards, he proceeded to tell me, "Get your license and registration now." And I proceeded to get my license and registration. After I gave it to him, he let me go. After giving me, of course, a summons, I got into my car and I was just completely shook. It took me nearly an hour for me to get myself together in order for me to proceed on. And I was just so shook. I called my mom when I got myself together, and before I even could pull over and tell her, "Mom, like, this is what just happened to me." She says, "Go to the police precinct and make a report. Like, he shouldn't have done that to you." And I get to the precinct. After I got myself together, went to the precinct, sat there for 2 hours. No one did a thing. The children were hungry. We just came home from church. All of this happened. We were already sitting there, and after being pulled over for a little while. So I decided I was going to leave. This is real. And the reason why I'm expressing and telling you guys my story is because it's not just something you see in the news. This is a weight that I carry as an African American woman, as a Haitian African American woman, knowing that I can not live the way like everyone else lives. This is a weight that will never come off my shoulders. And not only that, I'm a mother of African American children. And so police brutality is one thing. And yes, there are great, good police officers out there, but there are also police officers that are not. There is also a system that is in place that does not protect us from social injustice. And so at the end of the day, it's not just a news story. Many of you know me. Many of you can see me and see me in your everyday lives and know that This is Carlene. And I've never spoken about this before. And so this is actually, this is existing. This is actually happening right now. And the fact that it can happen to me, I don't know why he did that. Was it because I was a woman? Was it because I'm black? Was it because of his power that he knows that he can do anything he wants to do and not be held accountable for it? I don't know why he did that. But what I do know is that I did not deserve that. My children did not deserve to see that. How do I tell my children at the end of the day to trust a police officer to ask for help when they've just witnessed something like this happen to their mother right in front of them? Social injustice is not just with our, police department or police brutality. It's in our school. My son got kicked out of school after a child made some very racist remarks on social media, causing other children to laugh and taunt him. And when he went to address that child, he was in school upset and says and just went up to the kid, didn't touch him, nothing, and says to him, "Why would you do something like that?" He called him nigga. Look at this monkey nigga dancing on social media. He took a social post that he had and made a comment and had him dancing to some funny music and put on the post, "Look at this monkey nigga dancing." So when my son gets upset and the next day goes to school and asks him, "Why would you do something like this?" and he starts laughing and making jokes and his friends start laughing, my son takes a tray of food that was on the lunch table and just slammed it to the floor. My son got kicked out of school because of violence tendencies. How? And nothing happened to the child that called my son a nigger on social media. How about when my son comes home, another one of my sons come home crying and upset, and I said, "What's going on? What's the matter? What happened?" He was playing with another child, and as they're playing, he touched the child because they were playing wrestling with toys. And the child says to him, "Oh no, don't touch me." And he goes, "Why? What happened? Did I hurt you?" He goes, "No, we can play, but don't touch me." He goes, "Well, why not?" "My father says black people shouldn't touch me. So we can play, but as long as you don't touch me." How do I explain to my child that he can't wash the black off of him? That he can't wake up and be someone else? That he didn't choose this life. He didn't choose to be this, but this is who he is. How do I tell him that it's okay to be him when this is how he's being treated? How do I tell my son it's okay to go to school when a teacher takes his artwork, holds it in front of the class and says, "We don't draw dollar bills in here, yo"? Is this acceptable because we live in a predominantly white area? So it's okay for us to be treated that way and made to feel different? And when I go to the superintendent and speak about these problems that we're having, he says to me, "Well, we've had a lot of Spanish people around this area, so it's not really our fault. We're still adjusting because there's not too many people like you here." I'm sorry, what? That is your response? These are things that are happening every day. How about in the workplace? I had to contemplate for weeks when I was launching my event industry business if I wanted a white face to represent my business, because I knew, based on past experiences of either losing contracts when I was overly qualified and told to my face that I was overly qualified, when I would receive phone calls And I would be the one to respond to these phone calls for contacts or contracts that had to do with event industry business that I was encountering. And they wanted to speak to anyone else but me when I showed up to that meeting and they saw that I was a black woman. I was made to feel uncomfortable because I was a black woman. Many, many of you know me, like I said. And these are the stories that I do not talk about. I walk around and I smile and I laugh and I come home and whatever situations I deal with, I cry about it on my own or to my family. And whatever they're going through, we cry through it together. This is real. This is really happening, guys. These are conversations that we choose to not have or to not listen to or to not accept or to not believe. And today I want to break the silence. Enough. Enough. I did not choose to be a black woman, but I am proud to be a black woman. I am proud of my culture. I am proud of my ancestors who paved the way for us. I am proud of the women and men in our community that are doing great and amazing things. I am proud of our children that are out here fighting every single day to be who they are meant to be in this world. And as a mother who has children that I can only protect but for so long, do you know how much it hurts to know that they're growing up and I cannot at one point protect them when I set them out into this world? Do you know how it bothers me as a mother to know that George Floyd's last cry was for his mother? I can't tell you how that breaks my heart. I can't tell you every time I watch that video to see and to hear his cry for his mother. And here I am, a mother that's going to set my children out into this world, and I have no idea if they will come home to me. These are real conversations happening in real homes. Today I declare the Tell Your Story Challenge. This is the only way to impact and to help impact our fight, and to make it real to the people in our communities. We need to break the silence. We need to tell our stories. We need to let the people who know us in our communities know how real our struggle is every day we get out of bed. My name is Carlene Bobrin. Again, this is the Tell Your Story Challenge. And today I challenge you to tell your story.